Today on the Tristen Law Show, we're talking about drugs, alcohol, and I'm finally going to set the record straight with today's guest. Today's guest is none other than the Unbreakable Rob Fury, and that's today on the Tristen Law Show. Welcome to the Tristen Law Show, where I introduce you to the personalities in and out of the pro wrestling ring. The unique part is you don't have to be a pro wrestling fan to enjoy this podcast. If it's your first time here, new episodes drop every Wednesday. I'm your host, Tristen Law. Did you miss me? If yes, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at TheRealBigTris. If you didn't miss me, you can still follow me there. The biggest compliment you can give me is after you're done listening to this episode, subscribe and share this with your friends and your family too. A lot of people have messaged me trying to get the scoop on this episode featuring Rob Fury, pro wrestler and the owner of SWF in New Jersey, but I've given them all the same answer. You're going to have to wait until the episode, and the time is now upon us. If you don't know, Rob Fury was on the Bill Cunningham show years and years back. It was a Jerry Springer-esque like talk show. You want to see controversy as well? You're going to have to watch that clip on YouTube after this episode. I'll make sure the link goes in the description of the episode. I do want to mention that this episode may not be suitable for children, and it may not be suitable for your job. You might want to break out your headphones, your AirPods, or just listen to this in the car when you're by yourself, because some of the language might get you fired. If you get in trouble, though, I got you. Your boy Big Tris got you. Just have your boss call me, and I will talk to them for you. I can't promise you that you'll get your job back or you won't be in trouble, but I will tell them how much of a nice person that you are. Rob and I talk about racial allegations which have been made against him, his business relationship with Melanie Michelle, substance abuse, and much more. You asked for it, and it is here. Don't go anywhere, because when I get back, I have the Unbreakable Rob Fury with me. I am Tristen Law, and this is the Tristen Law Show.
Hello to all of you Tristen Law Show podcast listeners. This is Frank Mandolini. You may not recognize this voice. I am the Italian podcaster who talks about the business side of wrestling. Yeah, I know, it's quite niche. But if you look for last minute wrestling podcast on all of your social media and wherever you get your podcast, you've been amazed to find interviews with people such as Rob Van Dam or Matthew Gregg from Botchamania and many others, so you get to know many aspects of the wrestling business that normally you don't hear in wrestling podcasts. Because let's face it, who wants to hear another guy talk about Monday Night Raw? Yeah, me neither. So guys, go to lmwpodcast.com or search for LMW Podcast everywhere in the interweb. And remember guys, this is Frank Mandolini from the Last Minute Wrestling Podcast, and you stay safe.
Welcome back to the Tristen Law Show, everybody, and I hope that you're having a great time. My next guest at this time is a pro wrestler and the owner of New Jersey Pro Wrestling Organization, SWF. At this time, I would like to welcome the Unbreakable Rob Fury to the Tristen Law Show. Rob, how are you, man? Welcome to the Tristen Law Show.
Tristen Law, you are a great talent, first of all, and thank you for taking the time to have me on. It's been a long time, and this is the first interview I've done in over a year and a half, man.
I want to thank you as well for being here, because I know that you just underwent a procedure on your shoulder, and I know that, you're trying to, get back on your feet. Well, you're back on your feet. It's not really your feet that got the surgery, but, I'm glad that you were able to find the time to sit down and talk with me today, because
always, man.
I think it's a long time coming, because a lot of the people from SWF, they definitely want to hear what you have to say.
There's a lot to say, man.
When I was making my rounds in New Jersey wrestling back in 2011 to 2012-ish, there were two pro wrestlers named Rob Fury, both of you who I'm friendly with, and I'm sure you know, but everybody used to differentiate by saying white Rob Fury and black Rob Fury. How did you manage during that time, knowing that there's another pro wrestler, including yourself?
You know what? I just thought we were just one. But we were going to work the program together, me and him. But it never happened. He had the car accident. We couldn't do it. Is he still working?
No, Rob doesn't. You know what? I don't think Rob works anymore. I know he's really big into the cosplay, and he now lives in Chicago.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really?
I know he was trying to do a little thing back in wrestling. But yeah, I don't think he still works.
Something. I remember in like 2010, you may know, 2009, maybe you will, maybe you won't. We're sitting in the Paramus Elks Lodge for a Gino show for TV. And you go, hey, there's this Rob Fury, you're Rob Fury, what's the deal? But that dude, we were trying to work the program. He got hurt. I hope he's good, man. That's all I can say.
Rob, as far as you know, has anybody ever accidentally booked the wrong Rob Fury? Like they wanted you and booked black Rob Fury, or they wanted black Rob Fury?
Someone in Chicago did so. Someone in I gotta find it. Is that Indianapolis? Yes, Indianapolis did so. But other than that, no. I told them the truth. They wanted him. They didn't want me. And I said, hey, you can call him. But they didn't. Or if they did, I don't know. But what can I do?
Well, let's take a step back in the Wayback Machine, Rob. Prior to becoming a pro wrestler, what was your earliest memory of pro wrestling as a fan?
Oh, you know what, man? I'm going to be honest, man. Hogan, Orndorff. That's what did it. When Hogan, was teaming with Orndorff against Bundy and Stud, WrestleMania 2-time, won, whatever it was. Orndorff hit him with the clothesline. I was hooked. That's my earliest memory. Was that 85, 86?
Something like that. I know I was still a tyke at that time. I was still a baby. I still pissed in the bed probably.
Like I'm 41 now, man, but that's how long ago.
So what was the first pro wrestling event you ever attended?
In Aussie High School, my mother and some friends would take me out to events. I met the Metamaniac probably, I'm going to say, oh, God. I broke in 96, 97. Oh, man, this is probably 94. Canarsie High School, Brooklyn, New York. Metal Maniac goes, I'm going to do his voice. He goes, if you want to get into business, kid, you better work hard.
That is a good spot-on impersonation of the Metal Maniac. Shout out to Jeff. Shout out to Jeff in Hawaii.
Jeff is a great dude, man. I didn't get to see him when he was up here.
That was about what? Oh, man, 2 years ago that he was up here and then he left.
Yes, sir. Yes.
You got to break into the business in 96. 94 was about the time when you attended your first live event. So what was the moment you said to yourself, yo, Rob, you've got to do this. You got to be a wrestler.
I met, he doesn't like me very much because he's been misled by other people. And we'll get into that. A guy named Bill Pierce, Chris Michaels, was a great influence to me, a great dude, and he was coming off a knee injury. And he goes, look, man, I need a tackle dummy, honestly. And I said, okay, man. He took me down to Gleason's. We worked out. We came through. He got me my first booking, and that's how it happened, man.
How did you find your pro wrestling school? It's a fun question I like to ask the vets in pro wrestling because it's not as easy as it is now. We could just go ahead and Google pro wrestling school. But how did you find how did you find the school? How did you get hooked up with them?
I had the great opportunity of training with a guy who worked with The Undertaker, Ric Flair, WWE, ECW, everywhere he's been, Bill Pierce, Chris Michaels, for 1 year before my first match, 3 days a week. We worked at Gleason's gym, but got me ready. But he would not give me a match until I was ready.
Gleason's gym has brought in and spit out a lot of talent. And I didn't know that a lot of people that I know that are veterans actually went to Gleason's. Gleason's probably seemed like it was the place to go if you lived in New York back in the day.
Well, I took the train. I dropped out of high school, took a GED, right?
Right.
Went back to college later on. Became a cop, whatever. Got hurt, head in the finger. But this guy took a chance on me.
That's pretty interesting. I didn't know you were a cop. Were you a police officer for NYPD?
Special Victims State Police, yes, sir. Yeah, I retired 2006. I had a trigger finger injury, stabbed in the finger.
What was it that made you want to be a police officer?
I have no idea. To be honest, honestly, bro, and people that know me will say this. I watched Lethal Weapon, man. You ever watched Lethal Weapon?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what did it.
I've had Matt Lynch on here on a couple episodes back. He's the ring announcer, and he's the dad of the kid that I hang out with that I bring to your shows. And he was former NYPD. Great guy, man. I mean, one day maybe you guys can get up and exchange old police officer stories.
If I can remember them.
So looking back at it now, going back to your pro wrestling school, if you can give yourself advice prior to joining the pro wrestling school, what would it be?
Oh, man, that's hard. I was young, dude. I'm 41 now. I was 16, 15 then. I think it would be learn. I wanted everything like as quickly as possible. You know, we can't have that, you know, you know what I mean, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You've been out there for years, man. You were so, and I got to say this to you, you were so great to me. When I first came back there for the second back surgery, working the ECPW shows, Gino's a great dude, Caruso, you know, doesn't play nothing, but great guy. But you know what? I'm being straight, man. We're shooting from the hip. He's been a great guy all the time, great dude. Well, he did pay me a few times for the big shit. But Gino was great to me. But, you know, at the end of the day, man, you do what you got to do. And what made me want to come in, it was all those things.
So what's been your greatest moment in pro wrestling?
Everything. Every time I got to step in the ring, and I'm going to be straight with you, bro. Because you and I, before I'm done, we're going to get out there, bro. And I know all your spots. I've been watching your stuff real close. Okay? Well, let me tell you, man, I ain't got many more left. 26 years. I just had a major shoulder surgery, okay? I have to have a knee surgery. I've had 3 back surgery, 156 procedures on my spine. But my greatest moment is every time I've gotten to step out there ever since those surgeries, to be honest.
You see, for me, I've been having issues with my knees and joints as well, too, and I attribute it all to wrestling, and I just started doing the DDP yoga. Brother, let me tell you, DDP yoga is the truth. I came back from Gino's, but the hard part is always walking up the stairs when I get back. And since I've been doing the DDP yoga, bro, no issues walking up the stairs.
You know what? I tried it, man. It hurt me too much.
You did say that you have a lot more matches behind you than you do in front of you. And by the grace of God, you're still in the pro wrestling business because you promote. So what got you into promoting pro wrestling events? Gino,
and you'll get this. You know, I worked the show for Gino in 2009. And Yvonne Dudley versus Crazy Ivan, Tommy the Moose versus, oh, God. Well, it was Tommy versus Yvonne, Crazy Ivan versus whoever, Tito. And Gino goes, hey, I made $9,000 tonight. And then went, how the fuck did you do that? And here I am getting $60, you know? There's like 6 people, you know what I mean? There's 6 people getting paid. No disrespect to him. He's a legend. He'll never lose money. I just said, you know what? It's time. You know, we had a few partners in the beginning for SWF. Tommy the Moose, 2 different people, not in the business. Tommy wanted to go back to be a wrestler. And for me, it was more like, I want to keep going. And now we're a decade old, 10.5 years. But that's what did it. I just said, I'm tired. I want to do something else. We all have a longevity in the business.
That's really smart because Gino told you exactly how much money he made and a light bulb went off your head and you decided, hey, you know what? Instead of being on the bottom of the funnel, let me be on the top part of the funnel. Smart.
And there's not a lot of money at the top, believe me.
But I do want to add as well, too, Rob, that even though you said that there's not much money at the top of the funnel, being the promoter, I want to say this though. I just want to put SWF over, bro. I'm gracious that you have me working with SWF. You know, I appreciate, you know, all the things.
Well, you know what it was, dude? I'm going to tell you something. I appreciate that so much because when I came back to put this back after a year, after business falling out, after friends that went out there, did what they had to do. Listen, I've never been an angel. I don't claim to be. But these guys were driven on greed and driven on the things I was going through, which I will get into.
Yep.
But when I wanted to put the roster back together, I wanted to put people there that I knew were good people.
Right.
And when I came back in 2009, 2010, I remember sitting with you. Maybe you remember this. Sitting down the steps in Paramus. And you said to me, you go, hey, bro, I saw that stuff with you and Damian Darling on the TV show, whatever it was, Bill Cunningham. And you were good to me. And that's what I wanted, was good people around me. People that love the business.
You don't have to be best friends with everybody, but you should always be as respectful and kind to everybody as possible in the business, because the ass that you diss is the ass that you may have to kiss tomorrow to get a job or an opportunity.
Okay. And you know what? I when I went into this, I knew, I said, look, I can't work with anyone that was here. Very few stayed loyal to the original SWF.
Right.
But I wanted people that I knew that would love wrestling.
Let's switch gears a little bit. You told me that you want to talk about your sobriety. I've had Love Jones. He's a wrestler as well, too. I'm sure that you know him. He was on a few episodes back. Yep, he told me that he talked to you.
He just sent me a heart today. Tell him I love him.
I will definitely reach out to him and let him know. But I urge everyone listening to check out that episode with Love Jones, because he talks about his sobriety and his recovering. He's a recovering alcoholic. And you too, Rob, had a battle with addiction. What was your addictive stimulant of choice? And when did you realize you had an addiction?
Alcohol, Vicodin, and morphine. And I'm going to tell you the truth, man. This is from the shoot. I worked so hard to put the company on the map. And, you know, after all the back surgeries I had that people prefer to work and all this bullshit, they go, hey, it's a work. It's not a work. 170 back procedures on my spine, all that shit. And that's what it took. When I went out there, did those 4 matches, going through ladders, all that stuff. Who the hell would do that same? But I did it. Not his fault, mine. I just wanted to put the company on the map. When the rest of the roster was basically falling short and doing basic shit, we needed something. And I did it. And I went through a very hard struggle, very hard. I deal with it every day. Every day. But it took roughly a year, more than that, to get better. And you know what, man? The guys that crucified me when I left are the same people that were feeding me that stuff when I did, you know, when I was out there performing.
When did you realize that you had an addiction?
I think I always knew there was something wrong, but I think roughly when it all ended, when the original SWF company ended in December. You know what? I'm not going to say that. November 2019, I knew there was a problem, because I went to the shows going, I don't care what happens. I don't care if we lose money, make money. I'm just done. And I lost everything because of it. Believe me, I did. Rebuilt from the ground up.
So, and right now you're in sobriety, correct?
Yes, sir. To be honest, I went there, it depressed me, because they stopped the meetings, you know, when the COVID happened. So here I am, figure this, like 7 months removed from the business. Then I got a guy who used to work ring crew in AA going, hey, yo, Rob Fury, man, what's going on? I'm going, oh, God. Think about that, man. Tristen Law going to a meeting. Here's somebody that knows you. So it was tough. But you know what, man? When I went through that, it was really difficult. But I realized at the end of the day, like, no one did this. It was injuries. It was surgeries. I just wanted to keep going. We were doing 6 shows a month at that time. And, you know, I just kept, here's the thing. I shouldn't have worked all of them. I should have worked one every other month. But I didn't do that, you know. Thank God, my girl, Jennifer, my family, her family, that kept me going. Because if not, I would have been dead right now, brother. Hey, what else?
So for the record, when is the last time you took a drink or took a pill or took any kind of drug or alcohol? Because I know I hear a lot of scuttlebutt talking about Rob Fury. So set the record straight.
What's today's date, man?
Today, at the time of us recording, it is December 30th, 2020.
10 months ago. Tough, man. You know, listen, I'm in programs. I don't bullshit about it. I tell people, look, get help. Don't sit there and die. You don't gotta die. I thought it was over, but it's not. Keep going, man.
Talk to somebody out there who's struggling with addiction. Reach them. Why should they seek help today?
Here's why. Because life is worth it. Maybe it's a girlfriend. Maybe it's family. Maybe it's something you got deep inside of you. Seek help. There's this place out here in New York called Camelot. They also got one in Jersey. They saved my life, man. People go out there and they go, there's no hope. But there is hope. There really is hope if you want it. And you got to want it. Seek sobriety because you're worth it.
How has sobriety changed your life?
More focused, you know. I'm a lot, in the sense, business mind, extremely just ready to rock with everything, more focused with what we're doing as a company. In my personal life, it's changed my relationships with everyone in my life. Because believe me, when you're drunk, high, but mostly drunk, people hate you. Once you start changing up, people go, hey, okay, you went through this. That's how it changed my life. Listen, I did everything, man. I drank a bottle of wine, bro. I'm going to tell this story right out with my student, a kid named Waylon Cage. A bottle of wine, took 10 Vikings, went out there, did a hardcore match, bled the whole deal in New Jersey. But you know what? I regret it.
Did you feel that you had to like take the drugs or drink the alcohol in order for you to just feel normal?
Back then, yeah. Now, I'm great. No, I'm not great. I struggle, everyone struggles that went through it.
Of course.
But back then, when you're working, with all the injuries, you need to, I did what I had to do, back then. Now, a little different.
I know people that are in sobriety, they're in recovery, and one of the things that they all share in common is that they all say that you're always an addict and every single day is a struggle in order for you to stay on the straight line. If there's ever anything that I can do to help you stay on the line, if I can help you, I will help you. Just let me know.
You're like an angel, man.
Some people think to run a pro wrestling show, all you need is a ring, a building, and wrestlers. What I would like for you to do, Rob, is educate everybody in your opinion and tell them what it takes to run a pro wrestling show.
Experience. You want to know? I'll tell you. You can't be a fucking muck with a ring. You can't be a guy with money. You got to have experience in this business. I got 25 and a half years. I call it 26 experience. You got to have good people around you that know no matter what's said about you, you're done right by them, and you go out there and produce a show. People think, hey, we're going to be on television. We're going to do this. Bullshit. Gino Caruso was one of my mentors. And you know him very well. You work for him still, right?
That's right. Gino's one of my mentors,
Great
too.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
Great guy. But he knows his limitations.
Rob, you've been surrounded by controversy, and I think that you should change your name to the controversial one. And I told you before I was going to ask you tough questions, and you agreed. And here we go. While everyone is working behind me to make the Tristen Law Show better, I wanted to take a quick timeout to ask you to subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcast, rate the Tristen Law Show 5 stars and leave a review. Now, let's get back to the show. There was an allegation of a video floating around that you used a racist term to describe a WWE Hall of Famer, Tony Atlas, who is a person of color. Is that true, that you used a racial term to describe Tony Atlas?
Well, I'm going to answer this in two parts. Number one, you know me for 11 years. Did I ever treat you that way?
You know, it's funny. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday about you, and I said, hey, let me tell you something. I've known Rob Fury, and I've never seen that kind of side from Rob Fury. And I'm not just going to go on somebody's word. You know, if somebody has cold, hard facts, show me the facts. Because people reached out to me and was like, I can't believe you're still working for Rob Fury because he's a racist. I'm like,
I'm not racist. That's the stupidest shit I ever heard in my life. I'll be real with you. Racist? Racist.
That's
If
what
I
people...
was a racist, why would Tony Atlas come work for me for minimum what he would make because he was in town? And I called them. These were people, and I had to get into it. I'm sorry, but I got to. These were people that used to work with me. And I let the marks in the business, man. It was my fault. I tried to do this. And Tony, you know what Tony told me that day? Hey, Vera, you know, they tried to pay me $1,000 to say you're a racist, but you're not. Him and I are great friends. You know, I don't have a racist bone in my body. You know, people could say that, you know, but that's the truth, man. I hate if that makes sense, I hate everyone equally.
Let me clear up another allegation, and parents, if your kids are listening, just cover their ears for this one.
Cover 'em.
So about Ron Simmons, who too is black and is also a WWE Hall of Famer, there's an allegation that you called Ron Simmons a derogatory name. So Rob, did you ever call Ron Simmons a nigger?
Ron Simmons, what did I call him?
They said the allegation is that you called Ron Simmons, Farouk, a nigger.
No. Ron Simmons was paid $8,000 by SWF to appear at 5 shows. Why the hell would I do that? Think about it. I mean, look, he's a legend, a Hall of Famer, great guy. He gave me advice on my shoulder. Well, the left one, the right one blew out, not the left one. But, you know, absolutely not. These are people making fake messages. Bill Fetsky, Charles Delutri, that's who's doing it. Titan Wrestling, I'm not afraid to say it. They're not on my level, brother. You want me to say it? I'll say it right now. Put this out there as your clip. Here it is. The last 2 shows you and I did, you were there, both of them. We outthrew their whole fucking year. That's the fact. They said, hey, we gave the tickets away. We did not. We gave 30 tickets away to the veterans.
All right. On the same topic, according to your best recollection, Rob, are there any videos or other media which feature you and your actual voice where you refer to someone in a derogatory manner?
You know what? I struggle with a lot of drug abuse. No excuses, right? No bullshit. A lot of drug abuse back in 2015, 16, 17, 18, until I got better. But any of that stuff is doctored. Never, ever.
Well, Rob, to put the final nail in the coffin about this, Rob, are you a racist, a bigot, a homophobe, or do you harbor any prejudices against any other people?
You want to hear something crazy? The answer to all those questions are no. But I'm going to tell you something wild. One night I hooked up with what do you call that? Like a lady who had a sex change or man.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not know she had that sex change. It was Damien's fault. He hooked me up with her. He set me up as a rib. But I said, hey, if that's what you want, when she was nude, I left. I said, God bless you. I'm out. No, I'm not a racist. I'm not a homophobe at all. At all.
During Melanie Michelle's episode, which I suggest everybody check out after this one as well, I asked her, what makes you guys so special that people go around making allegations? So I'm going to ask you the same question, Rob. What makes you guys so special that everybody goes around making allegations about you and SWF?
What makes it special? Because they're not us. Melanie is no longer here. Here's the thing. SWF has a longevity. We have entertained thousands of people. And let me tell you something as a brother. Fuck promoter as a boy, man. I'm sorry it took you so long to get here, man. And that's from me to you. Mm-hmm. You know? But timing is timing. What makes it so special is that we have we don't do the bullshit. We don't give you 18 matches. Well, the first show we did. We don't give you 18 matches and all that stuff. We give you wrestling with stories. I have former business partners over a year and 2 months ago that are still going on about this. Still. Bill Fetsky, Charles Delutri, all these people going on about us. But for what? We sold out the first show. 302 people a second in a pandemic. You were there, man. Am I lying?
No, not at all. Not at all. And it was an outdoor show as well, too. And everybody was properly
Outdoor
social distance
in a
and wore
crack
masks.
In a hotel that was not the best. But we did it, you know? And that's what makes us different, is the longevity of a decade and a half of pro wrestling. That's really what it is.
So,
that when people call me for tickets, they're customers, they're people to me. I know them by first name. I talk to them. These people don't know how to do that. They just go, hey, we're wrestling. There's so much, man. You want to get into that, we'll get into it. I don't care. I never told the story, brother.
So, Robbie, because of all the allegations that we talked about, you've had other wrestlers who are people of color back out on working your shows due to these allegations. What message do you have for them?
They're misled. And I'm sorry they felt that way. But honestly, if they couldn't stand with us now, it was about 3 of them. If they couldn't stand with us now, they won't stand with us in the future. Because we have so much good going on right now, more than we have ever had. And that's how I feel, honestly.
And you know what, Rob? I'm sure 1 or 2 of them might be listening. I mean, there's 3 of them. The 3 of them might be listening. So, you know, Here's your opportunity now. Do you harbor any hard feelings toward them for backing out of the show?
No, I want them to, not at all. You can't harbor hatred. Hatred gets you sick. You know, I can't do that. But what I can tell you is they choose to stay where they were. After I gave them over 10 years of work, do I harbor feelings of negativity? I wish they would have listened to my story and the truth instead of hearing one side, if that makes sense.
To those, Rob, that have made allegations against you, what is your final message to them?
They can go fuck themselves. Because my last 2 shows, I've outdrawn their whole year. And I'm talking about Titan Championship Wrestling. I hate to give them credit, but you know what? They did it. You know, I brought these guys in, man. They were friends for years. I brought them in. They went out there. They said, he's a racist. He's this. He's that. You know, he stole from the boys. Come on, man. I hate to say that shit to people. I really do. I hate to say the terrible things. But they don't know what they're doing. The key to wrestling is not running 50,000 shows. The key to wrestling is running good shows that people care about, stories that people care about. These guys I brought into the business, they went out there, they said, Rob stole from charities because they knew I had an addiction I was dealing with. And I told them. And what they did when I did that was they went and started their own thing. That's the truth, Ben.
I see that Melanie Michelle, and we talked about it, she's no longer associated with SWF.
That makes me sad.
I'm sure she's listening right now. What do you have to say to her, Rob?
I love her. She was great to me, you know, great to me, honestly great. But it really isn't about her. The business, if you understand this, you know, you do, you've been around a long time. The last few weeks have been very hard with her. You know, Melanie, as I told her at the beginning, and listen, she is as much responsible for bringing SWF back and Rob Fury back and everyone here back more than anyone. But I could not deal with a business that takes 24/7, 28 hours a day, 10 days a week, if that makes sense, to make it work. But she's not committed to that. She's a great person. I hope that somewhere down the line we can talk again. I gave her time off. Her significant other didn't want that, you know. So we had to move forward. But she's great. I love her. And I'll always be there for her. But we don't have a relationship anymore.
Why don't you guys have that relationship?
Well, basically what happened was I called her. I said, hey, I got people calling me worrying about you. They can't find you. He called me. I told him, go get fucked. And then she said, I can't believe you did that. And I said, this business is more than 24/7. And Tristen, you know that, man. If you ran a company, you'd go, hey, man, it's my whole life. This is my livelihood, man. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she goes, I'm done. And I said, okay, we'll talk down the road. What started as Time Off till Mega Slam, which is April 24th, by the way, your book, mark it down. But, you know, she didn't want that. I don't hate her. I love her to death. But until she gets it straight, I can't do business here. It's going to hurt business if I do it. But she's been great. I heard her interview she did. She was right. She brought so much to the table. I just wish she could get her head straight.
Well, there are a couple of fans that reached out and they wanted me to ask you some questions. So I will pick out one fan in particular. His name is
Pick a ball. I'm here, brother.
Well, there's one that stood out to me the most. His name is Ace Lane. He's some kind of lifeguard somewhere in some place called Stiffwood, New Jersey. But
God almighty.
But his message was, too bad that I'm too cowardly to have the SWF Tri-State Champion, the legendary son of a beach lifeguard Ace Lane, on the Tristen Law Show, so I am such a coward. I have to answer that question, and I guess that question is directed more towards me, Rob. So I
don't do it. Listen, I booked the match. He asked you. Listen, you're the number one contender. Let's get it on, man.
But you see, Rob, the reason why that Ace Lane is not on the show is simply because he's a mark. That's the only reason why he's not on the show. He's a fake lifeguard. He probably hasn't saved anybody. He can't save himself out of a paper bag.
Pee myself, please. I'm going to pee myself right now. Stop it.
No, I'm just giving you the truth. I'm tired of Ace Lane. I'm going to walk in. I'm taking that belt and I'm walking out.
All right. Well, you know what? Ace Lane called me this morning. He goes, I'm ready for this match. Is Tristen ready? And I said, look, I'm going to talk to Tristen tonight on the interview. But let me tell you something, man. You guys are going. Ace, he's been around a long time. But he's a little older. But at the same time, I know what you'll bring to the table.
Yeah, I want to bring the ass whooping to him. That's what he's going to get. Run around photoshopping pictures with him and the Ultimate Warrior. Like the Ultimate Warrior would ever hang out with a creep like him. No, it's true, Rob. You know it.
I'm not saying nothing, man. I can't, brother. Please.
Look, I know that you're the promoter and you're trying to be, impartial. You're trying to be down the middle, but we all know it. He has.
I love both of you, man. I really do.
He has kindergarten Photoshop skills because I looked at the picture that he put out there talking about. Yeah, this is the lifeguard truck on the beach that I work at. No, you mark. It says Volusia County, which is in Florida, and all you did was Photoshop Stiffwood Beach on there. Stiffwood Beach is not true, and because of that, I'm going to beat some sense into him. One day you've got to check out this hotel called Life, Rob. What do you want Rob Fury to be remembered for?
Oh man, as a wrestler. Someone who gave it all, everything. But as a promoter, someone who gave the boys, the fans, the best I could.
Well, Rob, what is next for Rob Fury and the SWF?
Well, I'm going to recover from shoulder surgery. I'm going to get back in the ring, obviously. And what's next for the SWF? We have good people with us, the best team we have ever had. Honestly, the best roster ever. Really, including yourself, the best roster we have ever had. And what's left? Man, we're just beginning. We really are. I feel like the last 10 years, what we're going to do now is phenomenal. It really will be. We have so much stuff going on. It's going to be phenomenal. January 22nd, 23rd, we got 3 shows in 2 days. Who does that? No one in a pandemic. We're going to do it.
Very well. Well, Rob, tell everybody how they can find you on social media.
You can find me, Rob Fury Facebook, Rob Fury Instagram, SWF Live, more important than me, on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and live with the shows.
Well, Rob, I would like to thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I know that you're recovering from shoulder surgery. So, Rob, I know that I will see you in a couple of weeks.
Do yourself a favor. take care of your shoulder because this sucks, man. This shoulder surgery sucks. But I want to thank you for your time and having me on. I'd love to do it again.
Well, you're welcome, Rob. Anytime. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Unbreakable Rob Fury. Rob, thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned because I will give you my thoughts on this interview and who will be here next week with me on the Tristen Law Show. Hey, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you. That shirt you're wearing is so not cool. Why don't you head on over to TristenLawShow.com and get yourself a new shirt? Not only will you be cool, but you'll also be supporting the show. What are you waiting for? Go now and get a hat too while you're at it. Thank me later. We're the show at TristenLawShow.com. Welcome back to the Tristen Law Show, and I hope that you're having a great time. We are looking to promote your band or brand here on the Tristen Law Show. Contact the Tristen Law Show at TristenLawShow.com or TristenLawShow@gmail.com for more information. So what did you think about Rob Fury? Did it live up to what you wanted it to be? I want to hear from you. Shoot me an email or reach out to the show. Find all contact links at TristenLawShow.com. Talking with Rob, I've heard all the allegations against him in the past, and when he said that he was okay with anything I want to talk about, I wanted to find out the story directly from his mouth. Anyone who disputes these stories or has another side to the story, feel free to reach out to me in the show because I welcome you to tell your side. Rob, thank you so much for the time, and I think I'll see you this weekend. This Saturday, I'll be competing for SWF against Ace Lane. He's the SWF Tri-State Champion. I'll be in Colts Neck, New Jersey, and I'll be doing the daytime show. I'll ensure that the pay-per-view link is in the description of this video because I plan on walking into Colts Neck, the challenger, and walking out the champion. Ace, do me a favor because I know you're listening, Mark. Don't forget your teeth and tell your wife I said I'm sorry in advance. I'll see you soon, pal. Next week, I'm going to introduce you to Becca Scott. She is brand new to the pro wrestling business, but the reason she wanted to begin her pro wrestling training is extremely unique. And once I heard that story, I said, man, I've got to get her on here so that you guys can meet her. So that's what we got going on for next week. Some pretty cool things are coming up in the coming weeks as well, too, such as I'm going to be interviewed. Yup, that's coming. Keep your eyes and your ears peeled for that bonus episode, which will be coming soon. If you like this episode, I need a favor from you. Yep, I am talking to you. Share this episode on your favorite social media platform, and don't forget to tag myself in the show. Don't make this be the thing that you do. Let's make this be the thing that we do. You can walk up to a random stranger and tell them to listen to the Tristen Law Show. Yeah, they may think you're crazy, but who cares what other people think, right? Fine. If you're worried about being judged, go on over to TristenLawShow.com and at least buy a shirt. People will think that you're really, really cool. Rate the Tristen Law Show 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and leave a review, please. Reviews mean a lot. Whichever podcast platform you're using to listen, please subscribe to get notified when new episodes drop. And the best part is that it's free. Learn about myself and the Tristen Law Show by typing TristenLawShow.com in your internet-enabled device for more info. I'll be waiting for you until next week. I am Tristen Law, and this is the Tristen Law Show. And until next time, adios.